Oh, hey, we're live. Well, I'm live. Boo. Anyways, see how many people pile in here. Ba-ba-ba-ba. All right. There we are. Kind of got it going on two screens here. My goodness. It's probably, I'm wondering if it's because I got the live stream up a little late. See as everybody piles into the room all at once. Hey, what's up, man? Action Popcast. We're back in the usual position here. Back at the desk. I have kind of missed this. I have kind of missed the camera and the well-lit background. Not gonna lie. It was pretty rough. Sitting trying to get the whole setup on the other side of the room. Props to anybody that's capable of doing like this background. I've worked on this over the course of like 3 years. Oh my god, it's like 5 years. It's taken a while to actually flesh this out. So, like anybody that can just pop up a background with the, let's just move it over there. I just can't. I like UK. Greetings. How's the basement repair going? It's not. Haven't even heard from insurance yet. So basically, what happens is insurance calls a company to come in and assess, and then the company makes I guess a guesstimate of how much it's going to cost. Then the insurance adjuster basically swishes it around in their mouth for a little bit just to kind of get a vibe for how much it's going to cost. And then they call you back and they offer you either a check or they offer to send the company back to do the work. They came and took readings. They didn't say anything about what was the worst part about the basement or what was going on. I know that they had readings in the walls. And they had one of those little moisture meters. They didn't tell me what they had, but they did drop down a gigantic dehumidifier in the background there to just run 24/7. So that's telling me that they found moisture somewhere. Not exactly sure what's going on, but half my flooring's out in my studio. So hopefully it's going to happen soon. Action Podcast just got some Sennheiser HD 280 Pros. You're not blown away. Those are actually some of my favorites. For comfort, not for sound. Still have time to return any better suggestions in a similar budget. What's the similar budget? Last time I checked, 280 Pros were actually relatively expensive. I mean, the Shure are fantastic. If you want to spend, I believe the Rode NTH 100s are a little more expensive. Totally worth it. Everybody I've known that has gone down the route of switching over to Rhodes has never gone back. I've moved a few people over to them. One of my good friends who's a voiceover artist, she swears by them too. They're the most comfortable headphones you can get on the market. 2 UK people, 1 chat. There's a video. Outsider Jess, how's it going? 75 quid. The HD Pros here would go to 100. Yeah, I would spend a few extra bucks and get the NTH 100s. I know that it's I know that that extra money is precious and it's hard. I guarantee you if you try the NTH 100s, everything else is going to just feel like crap on you. They're so comfortable. Your ears don't sweat, or at least mine don't. I get sweaty ears when I've got headphones on for a long time. The NTH 100s, nothing. I wore these for a whole morning show, like 5 hours at a time, and never got that problem. They just feel so good. I'm glad my studio is in my bedroom. I am glad I'm not in my bedroom anymore. The amount that's in this studio is egregious. I should do a studio tour. Maybe I'll put out a video in the middle of next week, just doing like a mid flood watch studio tour, and just to show people the kind of like just how ridiculous it is in this studio. Um, and it's also like this kind of area in the basement is kind of, it's also our storage area. So beyond that wall over there, it's just to the walls. Like it's just completely packed with, everything that you can think of. We need to get like an outside kind of shed, but like not just a shed. We need like a 12 by 12 building just for storage. And if I ever move out of this basement, we're probably going to be set for storage, but damn, I want to get the Rode NTH. Yeah, they're great. They're fantastic. The Audio Technica don't really get good until you're at the M50s. My first pair of headphones way back in the day were the M40. I think they were called the FS, and they were okay, but then they moved to a different, I think the M40X. The X, when they moved over to the X, they brought the quality down quite a bit. I remember the M40s used to be like fantastic, and they were that one step below the really really nice M50s. And yeah, once they went to the X, they wasn't great. The M50s now they're still pretty decent. But for dollar for dollar, uh, still NTH 100s. So was if Rode or Dylan who contacted you about the microphone adjustment? It was Rode. It was funny because working with Dylan, when we initially had that kind of sit down, we're just jamming out in his studio. We both kind of noticed it, and it was kind of one of those things where we're like, oh, that's really weird. And to be perfectly honest, the reason a lot of this kind of landed on me is because I was the not the dick about it, but there's a part of doing videos is entertainment, right? A part of doing videos is kind of this like um I don't know how to explain it, but I mean, you have to ham it up a bit in some of these videos, and that's my style. That's what I do. That's you get going and you have a little bit of fun. You write the script up and having fun with that. And like, I could have just said, didn't work. I went and I had the cocky, let's make this its own chapter just to be a dick about it. And that's not because it's like, anything about the brand. That was just me going, okay, this is the one problem I had with the microphone, right? It's almost kind of a joke in the sense of like the biggest issue I had with this whole microphone was the fact that, the tightening thing on this. And I think as a reviewer, sometimes you forget how much of an impact your words can have, right? And how much like um there's people behind that company that have designed this stuff that stand behind this stuff. So when you take a shot at them, you're not just attacking a company, you are attacking people. And Rode is one of those special companies that is like that, where other companies really aren't. So it's kind of one of those like finding that fine balance between, yeah, like that was something that I had earmarked as an issue with the microphone, and I was planning on putting it in, and I decided, to ham it up a bit. And this is its own, what I see. Yeah, I'm making this its own chapter. Eh, and looking back on it, considering the fact that I was wrong on it, just looks so bad. And yeah, it was one of those things where it wasn't like the company was like, "Oh my God, you bastard, you misrepresented us." They actually sent a nice message, just saying, just so you know, it actually works like this. And it was more out of embarrassment where I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, I'll correct that. So there wasn't like, just as a clarification, it wasn't like the company was like, oh my God, take it down. It was more me going, I should clarify that. And I figured at that point I might as well like make content out of it. There's an old adage that says never turn your microphone on unless you have something to say. And just making a video of me going, sorry, Rode, didn't sound like fun. And considering the concept wasn't exactly overwhelmingly like, it wasn't a huge negative, big blow up. It was something that, I needed to correct. and there were a lot of people that had seen the video already. So I needed to correct it in a way that enough people were going to click on it and watch. So you create that content out of it. So just so everybody knows, there's not like there isn't any like huge conspiracy, and I hope that wasn't perceived that way. It was more just a way of me making something right that needed to be made right. Bloody cactus, I come for the ham. I've been called worse. I thought the sorry video handled it well. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's one of those, it's a rare situation that I've been in. I think I've only ever had it happen once before. But it does bring you back to this position where you're realizing, Jesus, I got to watch what I say, because it's, if it's a company that's very corporate, and there's a few audio companies, I'm not even going to name them. There's a few audio companies out there that I'm surprised I deal with a human when I contact them. They're very, very corporate. They just kind of ship stuff out like, you're on a list and therefore you get a product. There's companies out there that, you're not hurting anyone's feelings because they're shareholders and they just want money, right? But again, like I said, there are other companies. Rode is a good example of one of those, and I've dealt with a few of them. Lawton Audio is another one where, you're dealing with kind of almost a family business. It's a very human interaction you have with. There goes my washer. There's a very human interaction you have every time you contact them, and sometimes you forget about that when you're doing a review up, and you inject a little bit of fun with it, where some of that fun with other companies, it may not have hit, but yeah, it's just a matter of like watching P's and Q's and making sure that you're representing properly. And again, once again, this wasn't exactly something that was like, oh my God, you bastard. It's kind of funny though. Yeah, it is. I mean, I liked the response. I wanted the response to be fun, and I thought it was. Okay, just looked. You can get the Rode NTH for 110. I can squeeze that. Dude, let me know what you think. Seriously, come back when you get those. I want to know, because it's one of those things that I've turned a lot of people onto the Rode NTH 100s, but a lot of people, they never get back to you, and you see them still wearing it. But yeah, hit me up, and also links in description. Just saying. Dimebag, how's it going, buddy? Neumann, yeah, Neumann. Is that video? That was the video I put out last week, right? Or is that the video I've got? No. Oh, okay. I'm teasing a completely different video. I've been working ahead on my videos. Just Neumann. Let me just point that out. It's coming up in a couple weeks, I think. Different mic. Cool. Yeah, this is the Audio Technica ATH 2100X, which is going to be featured in a video that's coming up Monday. Thought Rode was supposed to have good customer service. I have not used it myself. They have fantastic customer service. Yeah, like Rode is probably the best customer service I've come across. Shure is good as well. There are a few companies that have really, really nailed it down and have realized that, without the customer service, you're kind of clipping off a good portion of your business. And this is another thing that I had it again today. Somebody messaged me, they're like, wow, I bought this microphone from Rode and it's got a really low input signal. I'm like, why are you in the comments? Contact Rode. You're doing the wrong thing. You're doing it wrong. You don't need to source this stuff with the community. You can just call Rode. Anyways, yeah, they're very good. Another news, have to have my Vocaster replaced this week. Headphone jack had issues. Dude, that Vocaster is like nothing but problems for you. Less than 48-hour turnaround, another unit, a new 3-year warranty, that service. Isn't this like haven't you had more problems with this Vocaster than you can count? Dylan's in the house, by the way. Cheers, Dylan. Danny Brown got the Rode NT1 for 130 in the Long and McQuaid Gear Hunter section. Super happy. That I actually they have the big kind of February blowout sale. That's where I got this amplifier. You actually can't see it behind your own. You can see it back there. That's my trainer that I picked up. Long McQuaid's good for that stuff, man. 2100X, great reliable mic. Yeah. Oh, P8 Jonathan. Cool name. PA, how's it going, buddy? Welcome to the live stream. Haven't seen you around. Bloody Cactus, I'm still waiting for Roland to make an apology video for Bridgecast Next. You know when I mention companies that you're surprised there's humans that interact with you? That's one of them. And that's not a shot at the company. They're corporate companies. They're so big, right? I've dealt with them a couple times. They don't send me products anymore, and that's fair. That's their choice. But yeah, like that's one of those like, is there anybody with hurt feelings when I did the Bridgecast X? I don't think so. I think there's a company that's like, well, don't send shit to that guy. But then also like maybe put out a product that you're proud of. I'm just saying. I don't know if they need an apology video because every company has a stinker once in a while. It's fine. But yeah, maybe pay attention to what people are saying about it, and then make some changes to the next one. Make sure it's robots not trying it out; it's actual humans. Hey, buddy, DJ Play Nice. Yep, contact Road. They'll get you sorted. Dylan, representing. Yeah. So if you're in the comments and you've got a problem with the Rode product, and you're just literally hitting the comments to go, "What do you guys think?" Just call Rode. When you put out a lot of products, and this is what I think a lot of people don't realize. So, my favorite comment that I get is usually somebody saying, well, I've seen like tons of comments about people having issues with this product. It's like, okay, so let's say Rode sold 1 million of something, and 10, or let's say 1% of that million has an issue. That's 1%. That means 99% were fine. 1% were bad. That's just a random ass number I'm throwing out. 1% of 1 million still a lot. And usually people that have an issue with their product are the loudest online. Nobody's going online saying, worked great, didn't have any issues with it. It was awesome. No issues whatsoever. That doesn't happen. So usually when you go into a Reddit subreddit or whatever, it's usually the people that are pissed off that they had one of the 1%. And it's not 1% that's the issue. That's just to kind of point out that, yeah, it's going to be an unfavorable look online. And did you actually try to call the company? Or maybe not? I don't know. 18 in chat, only 4 thumbs up. Come on, guys. We can do better than that. Yeah, the wrench is in the house. Do we still, Sneed, I think, still kicks around from time to time. That's our other wrench. I will head to your comments because 1 nerves and 2, I feel like I'll screw it up. 1 nerves and 2, I don't know where you're going. Great companies will take feedback on board and improve the product. Yeah. That's generally what you want. You want companies to kind of like, one of 2 things a company can do. They can crowdsource upon release and go, oh, we screwed up, let's do that better next time, or to crowdsource before they release and really kind of do their due diligence on what their target audience wants. And if you do that, you'll be surprised you're releasing products that people actually want to use. The fact that there's still companies out there kind of just throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks is kind of wild in the internet era where there's so much online about what people want. Like, you want to put out a streaming device, it's pretty obvious what people are looking for. If you want to put out a podcast device, it's pretty obvious what people are looking for. So the fact that you're kind of swinging and missing is, I mean, maybe you should get other people doing your research for you. Rode is even good at replying to question issues on the Rode subreddit. Yeah, they've also got a Discord, guys. Hit them up on the Discord. I've talked to the guy who runs the Discord a few times. It's great for crowdsourcing on Discord, but then they also have moderators there that actually can, get your questions answered. Misophob, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. I remember when 1.3.4 firmware update came out, the Rodecaster Pro 2, and bricked a good few units, mine included. Support was great, but there were also many who didn't have the issue. Always best to call support. Yeah, it's interesting when that, I didn't even know that happened. I'm usually late to upgrade firmware. It's because I'm dealing with something, or I'm reviewing something and I don't come back around to the product. Like the Rodecaster video had an update. I have no idea when it came out, but because I've been using the desk over here and I was using the Streamer X, I hadn't used this in a couple weeks. And, so I'm late to those firmware updates and I don't necessarily get on them. I try to get on them quickly when they're big, but yeah, I didn't even know that happened. That's funny. Dimebag. Hello. Constructive feedback. Ernesto. Yes, constructive feedback, always good. Sometimes it comes my way. It's cool to say hello. It is. Focusrite did say I've been very unlucky. When the company's like, wow, this guy's got it rough. But they've always sorted me out and it cost me 50 quid, so I'm hanging in there. Now the Lewitt Connect 2 was the unit that caused headaches. I just went over that too because I've seen a lot. Like a Bandrew just did his Connect 2 review as well. And man, it's such a great unit. Yeah, like it's such a cool unit, and the idea that it had so many problems is just so sad. It's like negative podcast reviews. A valid critique, take on board and act if necessary. If it's just a troll, meh, ignore and move on. You know what? When it comes to podcast reviews, guys, if you have the ability, reach out to somebody and get air checked instead of relying on feedback from the crew. Especially if you have, like, if somebody hits a nerve with a comment like saying, I hate how this podcast does X, take that. And there are people you can go to reach out to. One of the best things to do would be to reach out to a broadcast school in your area and talk to one of the broadcast professors. And they'll usually give you some really good feedback on it. And they usually like to help people, or at least I know they do in my area. And like, give them the specific thing to look for, and they might just be able to actually sort you out if you're having an issue like that. I got to play with a lot in Atlantis. Oh, I've wanted to. It was nice, but really hard to feel the price over 600 to 1,000. I certainly wouldn't drop 2K on it over some others. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat right now, Bloody Cactus. Like, I have, like, I mean, the little things like the NT2000. I have that mic that I can just pull out of my locker at any time. I struggle with the idea of going out and spending more than that on any other mic. I'm kind of set, right? Like, it's not like I'm just sitting here with an AKG P120 and I'm like, oh, I mean, gosh, it'd be nice to have a better mic. It's really hard to justify spending over $1,000 on a mic when you have something decent. I'm looking for what's in my Revelator from other manufacturers at a similar dollar. That Revelator was such a great unit, and it sucks that it kind of fell off this face of the earth so quickly. Like PreSonus dropped that like a hot potato. They start to ask, are you able to wear a watch to electronic items work strangely around your aura? I'm curious if you've seen podcast creators cancel trips to events in the US due to current events in a Canadian Discord channel, and pretty much everyone has canceled podcast movement. Ouch. I was planning on doing podcast movement. That's in Atlanta, if I recall. I'm going to be curious to see how many Canadians cancel NAB. I am not. I'm still going down. Business is business. And that's part of, my business is directly impacted by NAB. So I don't have the luxury of making a political statement, nor do I want to. I don't think, and I've actually held this despite having a few butting heads moments with some, how do you put it? Not aggressive, but passionate supporters of a specific person down south. This is very non-political on this channel. I have zero interest in making it a part of the ideology of this channel. So technically it doesn't really impact me that much, but it's also, again, get away from there, you little shit. Sorry, my dog likes to pee on stuff when I'm not paying attention to him. Yeah, it's hard when it's completely attached to your company and you need to. Yeah, I'm also, man, it's Las Vegas. It's not the US, it's Las Vegas. It's completely different. I think so, anyways. I had the NT1 5th gen, tried the USB connection. It would not work with 3 of my laptops. I got it swapped out and still had the same issue. All laptop USB ports are Thunderbolt. That is interesting. Um, I would say the cable. And I will say I've had the issue before. Rode has very specific cables. They're all plugged in right now. I can't actually show you, and they're all sitting over there. Rode has very specific cables that do ship with their product, and utilizing those cables are very important. I've run into the situation where I'm like, oh, I can just swap this out and grab another cable. And even with cables that have been quote unquote 3.0s, they don't actually work with the Rode product. And that's not actually on Rode, that's actually on a lot of cables are full of absolute shit when they say what their cable is capable of. So yeah, like unless you can get a very, very trustworthy, reliable cable that you know is rated for what it needs to be rated for. Yeah. So yeah, I would check that and make sure you are using the actual cable you get from Rode, but that is actually kind of weird. Broadcast professor, love that job title. Yeah, but that's what they call them in Canada. I'm not exactly sure what they are down there. Action podcast. I wanted the Connect 2 to be the one mate. Really fucking did, but believe you, who said to me, sometimes it doesn't work out, move on. Yeah, you know what? I mean, I hear you. The Connect 6 is awesome. If you're looking. I'm getting way behind here. Verbal diarrhea. Hi, I want to create a setup at my home for streaming. I'm facing a lot of confusing thoughts. My budget is low. Should I buy once and cry once or start budget? Um, buy once and cry once. A lot of budget options you're going to run into are going to be replaced very quickly, and you end up spending more money in the long run. If you're capable of buying once and crying once, do it. If you're not, I mean, it's fine to go budget. Just remember, in the long run, you do spend more money because budget you do replace quicker. Especially when you know you're buying budget. If you're cool to buy a fine mic and just have it until the thing breaks on you, cool. But if you know damn well that's not your end goal, and you know damn well you're going to be upgrading to a Rode, a Shure, or whatever, or you know you go out and you buy the Vocaster, but you damn well know that you're going to be upgrading to the Rodecaster Duo, you just buy the Rodecaster Duo, because the amount of money you're going to spend extra is just like it's not worth it. Anyways, NT2000 or NTG3 for studio use. Like we talk in studio, like video use, NTG3 all day. For studio use recording, NT2000. It's just like when Dylan and I plugged it in, and we both had this moment of like, holy shit, that sounds amazing. And even though we do the back and forth with the wow, my brain just went the NT2A. There's a lot of NTs. When we went back and forth, we had the NT2A, and we are like, holy crap, there's very little difference, if any. There was that sparkle moment. It's probably Dylan's preamp. I'm not gonna lie, but damn. I do love the NTG3 for voice, though, for just doing, and the fact that it can be off camera is awesome. The glorious Toonie. I'm still going to NAB as well. Yeah, Dylan and I going to be hanging out in Vegas, so we're going to watch for that. We may see some crossover between Dylan and Aiden happening in Vegas. I'm over mics. I want to get a Rodecaster in the future. Yeah, can guarantee Rodecaster is awesome. Thinking of buying K688 with some interface. Finding items in Idea is a bad experience. Elgato stuff. Oh, in India, Elgato stuff is too costly here. Yeah, and that's the problem, right? It's hard to tell people, considering the market you're in. Elgato it tends to be overpriced for what it is outside of the US. In Canada, it's a little overpriced as well. So, but I know you can get really good prices in the US on this stuff. So it's tough, man. Market's really hard for me to call. I will say though, like, do your due diligence. The K688 was a fine sounding mic. You run into a lot of quality control with those microphones. as I ran into with the K688, as I've run into with Maono, all of those, quality control is absolute dog shit. So just be careful, especially if you don't have a way to send it back. Excuse me. Need to drink some water. I thought it was only a me problem. My Chihuahua. Yeah. Well, this guy's his pit Wawa. He's a pit bull Chihuahua mix, and dude is problematic. Calling your dogs a little shit is a universal experience. It truly is. We've been a big dog family for a long time, and big dogs don't have this problem. I returned the microphone with the cable and got a new one. Nice. My dog is approximately 4 pounds. Yeah. We had an old Rottweiler King Shepherd that was closing in on 200 pounds. And that's been our experience with most of our dogs. Bob, do not chew on that. Our pit Wawa, on the other hand, lots of personality and very possessive. He gets very jealous. So USB cables are a nightmare. Steve, how's it going, buddy? Yeah, I don't like the state of USB cables right now because there's no way to test. There's no way to actually confirm. Oh yeah, that's good. I would love to see. I don't know. Maybe there already is a testing program out there. I know the machine to test them are very expensive. I'm not exactly sure why you can't just plug both ends into the same computer and get a result on that. I'm pretty computer savvy as it is. It seems to me that's something that a computer should be able to test. But maybe that just takes all the money away from those machines that they use to test cables are thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. Linus Tech Tips picked one up. And yeah. King Paco, hey buddy. You're not lying, it's gonna cost you an arm and a leg. Not exactly sure what you're talking about, but probably. Rick on Mike, I wonder what Fafine's customer support is like. You know what? I've broken Fafine's heart on YouTube a few times because they keep commenting on all the videos I did about their mics. And when I gave up, I had liked the AM8. I think it was the Fafine AM8, which does feature in the Monday's video. But for some reason they didn't see that I had reviewed that microphone. But yeah, every time they kind of gave me this sob story about how much they wanted to convert me into a Fafine fan. Yeah. But they did quite well. They're not bad. Out of all of the companies, Fafine probably had the best. Quality control though. When I talk about being the best, it's kind of like the best. The quality control in all of them is garbage though. Buy on an SM58 from day one, just do it tighty whitey. Yeah, SM50. I mean, on camera, and this is why I kind of wanted to focus on this microphone, right? This is one of the first. I was watching older videos. Sorry, small tangent. I was watching older videos as I was doing a video on this, and I came across Bandrew's. And Bandrew did one on the original ATR 2100, the non-X variant. This one was released in 2019. The original was released in 2011. And it was such a big deal. The idea that you could have an XLR and USB microphone. This thing was like the grandfather of that whole dual mic concept. And I don't know if there was others that came out, but this one, the ATR 2100 was the first one to really get that recognition. Even the Samsung Q2U came out after. And what's interesting about these two microphones is, so this one came out in 2019, this one came out in 2012. They have the same capsule, or at least the same capsule relative. You can tell it's from the same distributor. They do have minor differences, which can just be attributed to the fact that this came out in 2012. This came out in 2019. But yeah, this thing really kind of carved a path for everything else. It's kind of sad that this thing's it's been discontinued, but you can still get them on Amazon pretty cheap. I'd buy once and cry once. Look at the MV7 and the Pod Mic USB. So I noticed Shure just put out the Pod Mic, or not the Pod Mic. Shure just put out the MV7i, which is the interface microphone. I'm a little disappointed in Shure. Since coming out with the MV7, they've had like 4 different variations of the bloody thing. That's why I say pod mic. I feel like the MV7, the original MV7's been discontinued. That feels disappointing. Rode NT's range is the MCU of microphones. What do you mean by that? Depends on what you think about the MCU. So many considerations. Yeah. Crowdfund. Did you try MIDI? I did not. I got to try that. So after the flood and everything, the shit show that has been my life, I'm going to do that studio walkthrough next week, I think, and just to show you guys the absolute shit show that is my studio, and life has just been manic since it happened. So, yeah, coming back to that NT, that is a statement. Companies have great opportunity to serve non-Western countries. I have a few friends in Nigeria, etc., and the cost to buy road sure is crazy prohibitive. That's not the companies doing that, to be fair. Especially, I do know in Africa, there's a lot of like import taxes to try to encourage self-sustenance, self-sustaining industry within the countries, which is, that's perfectly fine. So it's not Rode's fault that these microphones are out of reach in certain countries, or it's not Shure's fault that they're out of reach. It's usually the country tariffs. That's a hot word that we're all talking about. Tariffs are a big deal. Just general import fees. Also distributors who get the product and mark it up like nothing else. So it's definitely not the company's fault. And companies can't have a presence in every country. So you have like Canada is a good example of that, where very few companies actually have a presence in Canada. And usually they rely on distributors, which means it's more expensive in Canada. Every Shure product I've bought has been at least 20% more expensive here in Canada. It is what it is. So yeah, you got to kind of give the companies a bit of a break on that, because they can't just, move across the globe. You look at companies like Shure, who have a great presence in a lot of countries, but you just can't cover everything, right? King Paco, I have a Vocaster 2. Now I have a Rodecaster Duo. Love them both, but the Rodecaster Duo. Rodecaster Duo is going to beat the hell out of that Vocaster, dude. I normally use CalDigit TB345 cables, but they are very pricey. Yeah, I'm actually just getting into CalDigit right now. Fantastic products. But yeah, I don't know. That is weird. That is very, very weird with the NT5. I've been binging your content the last couple days. Thanks for the response and thanks for all the content. Hopefully I find something. Cheers, brother. Thank you very much for the support. I appreciate that. I'm glad I can help you in some small way. Yeah. Well, what kind of content are you doing? Hit me up with that. King Paco, upgrading your equipment is going to cost you money. It's going to cost you an arm and a leg. God, that sucks, doesn't it? Never mind. That was the K669. Yeah, okay. PodMic USB, definitely for the win. I absolutely love that. Somebody actually asked me on yesterday's video why I was using the PodMic when I have so many more expensive microphones to use. And I found that funny at first, and then I was like, it kind of reiterated the conversation around value that I've had. Forget who I was talking to recently about that. Oh, it was my father-in-law. Because he came down into the studio and he was like, wow, we were surveying the damage and he was like, you have so much. And I'm like, like nothing. It's when you're reviewing the stuff and it sits on your shelf, anything that you get that sits on your shelf has zero value. It offers no value to my life. It offers no value. There's no financial value to it. The few microphones that I reach for constantly have value. On my main setup, I use the PodMic USB. The microphones that I use around here, this one is always on my desk. It's just always on my desk. It's easy to just throw up and throw on. And usually I'm going through a Rode interface. So you've got the Aphex, which is just perfect for that. But yeah, like the few microphones that I have that there is good value in them. I mean, I could just keep the NT2000 set up all the time, but that's usually not good for the microphone. I don't know if you know this, but with a lot of those higher end condenser microphones, you got to keep them covered and all that stuff. I guess I could, but then it's a super large microphone to be on camera with. So there's a lot of different things, a lot of different conversations around that stuff. I do intend to use it more for music, and like that's why I bought the amplifier and stuff like that. But I guess I just have certain microphones that I reach for, like that are just always here. I've got the NT1 sitting up there on the, it's on this side. Uh, there's the SM7B, another microphone I just reach for. So yeah, I love the PodMic USB as well. That's where I was going with that. Action. I like the K688. I reviewed it. It has positives and negatives. The resonance was bad, but it has a place for the right person, the right use case. The right person, the right use case is broke and can't afford anything more. I don't the K688 was fine for what it was. The resonance, you're right. I always just come back to quality control. And this comes from a business perspective of you want to be a streamer, you want to make money as a streamer, you buy a microphone, you get microphone doesn't work, you're not working as a streamer, you're returning said microphone to get another one. Quality control is one of the worst things to have screw up with a product. If you, like the Bridgecast X from Roland, those names are too close together, that is a product that just, what doesn't work in it, the quality control of that, which not necessarily quality control, but it's like the fact that you get it expecting one thing and it does something else completely and makes you have to return it. That's one of the worst things that a company can do. And you know what, everyone has, like, there's a bad apple in every bunch, right? You're going to get some companies, or you're going to order from them and you're just going to get the one that has loose welds on the inside, or something came off in transit, or it's always going to happen. But when it's something that's consistent, I've had, I think, about 6 or 7 mics from both Fifine and Moono, and I've had about a 50% rate of quality control issues, and that's 50% is bad. So that's why when I tell people that it's not worth your time, it's for that. If you want to make money doing content creation and you have a 50% chance of having a dud show up at your door, that's not good. That's why I don't work with PreSonus much anymore. If you've been watching this channel for some time, my PreSonus AR8 blew up and PreSonus did nothing about it. And you end up finding out that they've had 3 revisions on their power supplies for those boards because they kept blowing up. That's an issue. And that's something that put me down while I was doing a morning show in my basement. That's not cool. So that's why I usually like steer away from stuff that has QC issues. I feel for you on the flood, man. We had a warm spell last week and the snow's melting quicker than usual. We had some water in the basement. Fun. Good. That terrifies me. We've melted a lot too up here in Ontario. We seem to be pretty tight on that. It's just the washers that seem to be causing all those floods for me. 100% confirm tariffs in Africa in some places is 200%. See, I know that there's limitations. My wife lived in South Africa for a little over a year, and I know they have limitations on internet where they capped internet, so streaming was not an issue. Like, you had to buy physical media, and they did that to keep the music industry in South Africa moving along well, and it worked for them. And you know what I mean, if you want to use tariffs for that, sure. The problem is I mean, content creators might run into issues with stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know, 200% is, that's like throw up in your mouth kind of stuff. Currently, there's no way I need more than 2. 2 would be worst case. Okay. It wasn't aimed at me. 200% is egregious, though, and I am way behind on comments. See, everyone's talking to each other, which is awesome because it's nice to see people helping each other out. At the moment, you can buy the Vocaster One Studio Pack for 70 quid with a mic and headphones. So there's definitely options out there. The mic and headphones. Yeah, you can buy that. Not gonna lie. I'm a software developer. I want to start producing some content related to the same and also want to stream too. Yeah, good luck with that, brother. Hopefully you can find something. I do have a couple people on our Discord that are from India, and they too have struggled with this. One guy who does he does the State of Decay stuff, and I spoke with him for quite some time, and kind of some of the struggles. He was also dealing with trying to treat his room as well, which had become problematic. Holy crap, 27 people in the room. How's everybody doing? Ontario here too, sir. Muskoka. I was on the radio there in Muskoka for some time. Lovely area, but winters and spring especially can be brutal. I was just outside of the Muskokas. I was on Moose FM. Yeah, I'm sure you've heard of Moose FM. That was me on the morning show. Where can I find your cover of Chemical Workers song? You mentioned it earlier in the comments on another video where I asked about Rode NT5. If you search our videos, Chemical Workers song, it's on our YouTube channel. I can tell you the exact date that we did it too. 1 second. Let me look for you. Studio content. I know this is great YouTube viewing right now. If I look Chemical Workers, we released that May 14th of last year. The video before that as well. You can just, if you search Chemical Workers song Dark Corner Studios in YouTube, you'll find it. The one we released the week before is how we put that video together and how we put that song together, because the concept of the whole project was, can you record a song with a Rodecaster Duo or just a Rodecaster? And that whole song, every part of that song was recorded with a Rodecaster Duo, including, which was the coolest part, Dylan, my old co-host here on this channel, who is now dearly departed with Mackie and Rode. He used the pads for MIDI triggers for in Pro Tools, so he could actually put another layer of drums or percussion in behind us singing. It's just, Dylan had such a hand in that music, and I had such a little hand in that. At the end of the video, it says thank you, Dylan, because Dylan basically did everything. God damn, it sounded fantastic. Local station, we were there when my daughter's cheer team doing a promo, got talking to DJ for a while since I recognized they were using Yellowtech boom arms. Audio nerd talk ensued. I didn't realize they'd moved over to, I can't remember what they were using when I was on the, that's Jesus, we're looking about 10 years ago. Chemical Workers song was cool. Oh, thank Dimebag. I believe he just linked it for you there. I have a DJI mic 2. Should I scrap the idea of getting the mic altogether? DJI mic 2, from what I've heard, is actually pretty good. You're going to find in a lot of situations like that is the mic you start with is going to be fine. Just go. Just do what you need to do. As long as you don't sound like absolute dog shit, you'll be fine. And you also get to learn how to EQ and do the processing in post as well, which is just as important. When you're getting started, you got to learn how to treat your content or your product and your audio. So yeah, the DJI mic 2 is probably going to be fine. Like, you could start, if I recall, I'm going to look it up while I'm talking. I really have to, oh yeah, you're going to be fine with the mic 2. That's up there with the Rodecaster or the Rode, the Rode Wireless Pro 2, I believe, or the Rode Wireless Go 3. God, man, so many of those. 32-bit float internal recording. So yeah, the DJI mic 2 are basically on par with the Rode Wireless Go 3, or Gen 3 they called it. So yeah, you probably will have no problem using that. When I found Bandrew Scott peeps this channel, I knew I had to stay subbed. Keep up the great work. The crazy wabbit. Yeah. Bandrew and I chat from time to time, and he keeps turning me down to work together. Apparently, he's too busy to spend time with Aiden Wolf. I don't know. It's but yeah, like every year, we do a live stream, and Bandrew's been on 2 in a row. So if I can get him for the one a year, that's I really love working with Bandrew, and I really I love the collaborative effort. And I feel like watching other parts of YouTube, like I love watching like Linus Tech Tips and a lot of the computer building channels, Paul's Hardware and all that stuff. And you see a lot of crossovers with a lot of channels there. And I think when I kind of came into this and I started building up a viewership and I started building up an audience, one of the things I really wanted to do was reach out and try to have some sort of crossover, some sort of, hey, let's do this. And you know, I mean, we're all a quirky bunch, us audio folk. But I think this is something as we kind of expand, as we get a little bit bigger. I think this is last year going to NAB was a chance to meet, and I got a chance, got to meet Tom Buck and got to chat with him. And it's tough because we all live so far away, but yeah, Bandrew's definitely part of the channel, and he not part of the channel, but he's in and out here. And yeah, definite respect between us. So that's cool. I started to test out mics and realized that my room was so bad echoey that I gave it up and stuck with my lav mic. That's the other thing, right? Like you can really drop a lot of money securing the audio of your room. Good God, can you ever? My suggestion really, and you can see it behind me, is the Elgato stuff, but shit, you're going to spend a decent amount of money. Like I think I've got about $400 worth on the wall here. And I've got, yeah, just thumbs up. And I've also got another box down here. I think that's another 150. But it's so good and it works so well. And it looks decent. You can wrap lights around it, but as you can see over here, it doesn't, some of the LEDs don't exactly stay stuck up. But yeah, a lav mic just saving you all the issues in the world, and it lets you get started on your content and still have decent content, decent sounding content. Might as well. And there's a lot of people, if you ever want to check out one of my favorite channels, I believe he's Australian. It's been a while since I watched one of his videos. And that's what I reckon. He's a cook, a chef, and he does some of the most amazing kind of food videos. Absolute gem of a guy who swears his ass off, and I don't know how he's ever gotten monetized on any platform. But he used to use, when he was talking, he used a little lapel mic and he put it on a stick. And that was what he used to talk whenever he was out in live. I think he's got some of the Rode wireless now, but dude had well over 1 million subscribers, and he had this little lapel mic on a stick, and that's literally all he ever used. So if he can do it, you as well can do it. Somebody's going to tell me that he's from New Zealand and I just offended everybody in Australia. It's probably going to happen. Something else I was going to say earlier, my son is 10 and autistic. He watches all this stuff I watch. He now has an interest in audio. God damn it, ear knowledge is better than mine. Yeah, young people are going to make you look, their ears are perfect. This is the problem with children. Children are perfect, meaning they don't have the flaws that you develop over time as an adult. Have you ever seen like a 12 or a 13-year-old drum, like one that's really into it? They're literally all cartilage. They can go like a mile a minute and they're good. So yeah, your kid will surpass you pretty fast, but that's cool. That's cool to hear that he's getting into audio. Watch out. Get him a camera. Get him to start some YouTube. We need more audio people on YouTube here. I have Elgato sound panels in my office, but I use GIK acoustics elsewhere. I still have the starts with an A. I gave a bunch of it. It's a bunch of the really expensive stuff I don't like the look of it. It's fantastic though, having it on the walls. It literally, this whole room is basically dead with the exception of that spot over there, which is just a door and all that, but very, very not active room. Is the Focusrite kit combo any good? No. Beginner to voiceover? No, do not buy. Watching from Ventura, California. Pasalin Vlogs. How's it going? Welcome to the channel. Buy a Rode NT1. There you go. You're done. You can buy the don't buy a kit. You can do voiceover with earbuds. Start with that if you have to. You don't need the headphones. The headphones are dog shit. The Scarlett microphone, just bad. Go buy a Rode NT1. They're cheap. Signature series, super cheap. You can get a 4th gen used. You can probably still buy a 4th gen online from some retailers. Perfect mic for voiceover to start. Get yourself Scarlett Solo for voiceover. I know it's gonna piss a lot of people off when I say that. I have a friend who's who's making more than most people make. She makes more in a month than most people make in like 6 months, and she uses a Scarlett Solo, so it works, and they're cheap. Just get a decent interface that has decent self noise, and yeah, NT1. That's all. Do not buy the Focusrite kit combo for actual voiceover. Remember, if you plan on being a professional and showing up to work, you wouldn't show up to a construction site with a toy hammer. You have to buy professional products. If you are planning on getting paid, companies that hire you and are going to give you money expect you to show up with professional gear. And the cheapest professional gear you can get is a Rode NT1, which is maybe the cheapest, but I did a video comparing it to a $3,000 microphone, and nobody could tell where I switched between them. So yeah, go buy a Rode NT1. Sorry, that's just kind of one of my triggers there. Just saying. Red Cabin, just saying, hey brother, how's it going? Likely fine to start. Yes, likely fine to start, not likely fine to make money. Again, when you're talking about showing up for work with something like that, and a lot of people are like, well, I want to start a voiceover career. And it's like, okay, well, that means that you want to start something that people are going to pay you for. Imagine somebody showing up for that, you're paying them to work, and they show up with toys. You'd be, what are you doing? Right? People are giving you money to give them a product. You need to start with something that's professional quality, and the Scarlett stuff is not good. The Scarlett Solo is fantastic. The Scarlett 2i2, the Scarlett Focusrite lineup of interfaces is fantastic. The stuff they try packaging with it to try to get you to buy a full pack to a starter kit is not good. I would avoid. NT1 4.5 dBA ENL for a win. Yeah, it's the quietest mic on the market, if I recall. 4.5 dBA EIN is ridiculously low. It is a very, very good microphone. Enthusiast Impressions, another new person, I think. What are a few examples that are professional quality from budget all the way to exorbitant? NT1, I keep saying it. Realistically, your first microphone as a voiceover person should be an NT1. It's, I think they go for $159. It's $159. That is as cheap as you're going to get. And something that you got to remember when you're doing a lot of voiceover stuff, there's a lot of companies that won't even hire you unless you own $1,000 microphone. They'll have a list of microphones that you have to have one of those microphones that are on that list. And usually the cheapest one is a TLM 102, which is about, I think they're $700. I mean, if you're looking for voiceover from cheap to exorbitant, the usuals are the Rode NT1, the I'm starting to get, that's the wife, Rode NT1 up to a Neumann TLM 102, I used the NT2A. That was my first microphone that I purchased for voiceover, and it paid itself off in the first month. Fantastic microphone. I bought it because it has multiple polar patterns, all that stuff that don't work for voiceover. But I also, if you can tell behind me, I have other uses for microphones. Um, all the Neumanns basically go all the way up to exorbitant. And then you get into kind of niche stuff. Lawton Audio has a nice microphone. You can get SE mics that are nice, that are from cheap to exorbitant. The reason I say Rode NT1 is low noise, great sound, and people can't tell the difference between that and a U87AI. So, I mean, get a Rode NT1. RME Babyface is the best compact interface you can get. Yes, it is unnecessary. I had one guy, he's like, oh, if you want to be in voiceover, you need the RME Babyface, and it's the only way that you can get work. Again, I have a good friend. I can't tell you how much she makes. If you knew how much she makes, your eyes would water and you'd shit your pants. Is that good enough? And she uses a Scarlett Solo. The microphone she uses is an MKH 416. By the way, one of the best voiceover mics of all time. But yeah, she uses a Scarlett Solo. You don't need an RME Babyface. You can use one, and they sound fantastic. If you were to close your eyes, and most people get them to close their eyes, and you played audio from an RME Babyface, and then you played audio from a Scarlett Solo, most people couldn't tell the difference. I would actually say nobody could tell the difference. I've had statements like that backfire on me, but that one I don't think will. They're not the noise profile of them. If you're so tuned in that you know what the noise profile of an interface sounds like, you need a hobby. NT1 and Scarlett interface you mentioned just looked $270 in a change for them. Damn, that's cheap for a pro setup. Yeah, and that's a pro setup. That's something you can start making money with right away. Beresford, sorry for tuning up late. Busy playing music. Cheers, brother. Welcome to the show. Enthusiast, well, thanks for the suggestions. You need an Avalon channel, man. yeah. You don't have a $5,000 preamp, and you don't have separate converters. Cheap, man. I think Voiceover Village made a video talking about microphone quality. One of the reasons you need a great mic is because your competition has them. Yeah, and when you're going for jobs, voiceover is one of the most competitive industries I've ever been a part of. And I remember I have a lot of friends that are in the voiceover community, and I remember one of them who kind of mentored me in he just passed away this past year, a gentleman by the name of Bob Darrow, legend in Ottawa radio. And he was like, first time he met me when I was in broadcast school, he's like, you have a gift. You need to use that gift. I am going to do everything in my power to make sure that gift is brought to the world. And then I reached out to him. I'm like, Bob, so you got any pointers? He's like, no, you're competition now. He's like, fuck you. Just go out and figure it out yourself. And it's like that. Like, this is a guy that I considered a friend, that I considered a mentor. And he helped me like kind of break in and get my first demo. And then after that, it's like, fuck you. You are my competition. And that's exactly it, right? Your competition has it, buddy. So yeah, don't screw around. You do not need an Avalon. I'm kidding. Don't buy one. No, if you can afford one, go buy one. RME is best for features, clean pre's. Yeah, you can get cheaper, no problem. I'm just finicky. You know what? I mean, it's by me saying you can get by with a Scarlett Solo. If you want to go buy an RME, I have an AudioFuse Studio, which I like better than the RME, by the way. I also like more inputs. Yeah, I know. Go buy it. If you can and you want to, you go ahead. You spend the money. You beautiful little flower. You do as you see fit. I don't own any RME Babyface. I would love to, but for somebody that's asking what the cheapest option is to get into voiceover, yeah, 260 some odd dollars. What did he say for an actual professional setup that you can make money on? That's hard to fight. I have an awesome tin cans and some wicked Canadian string. Yeah. Bought a Harrison Pre this week. Yeah, okay. So I'm guessing you have a few bucks on you. Wardbeck broadcast consoles all the way. Ask Dylan about that. If you saw Dylan's video, Dylan, I'll let you post that link, and I think you can post the link. Um, Dylan had a video. Oh man, the name of it, basically about radio. He used his award back in that. Bob was a super kind person. Danny knows Bob. Yeah, always smiling and positive. Bob was a gem. Brother Bob Darrell. Love that man. I'm afraid AI will destroy the voiceover work, at least on the low end. Nah, man. It's going to destroy Fiverr. That's all that AI right now, the only thing AI is destroying is the Fiverr crowd, which, I mean, who cares? Fuck your competition now. This applies to the construction world too. Yeah, it's ridiculous how aggressive they can be. So there's another one, a woman named Lisa Brandt. Was it Lisa Brandt? Yes, it was Lisa Brandt. I sat down and I chatted with her, and I was kind of getting feedback. And I remember one of the first things she said to me is, well, you and I are probably not going for the same stuff because you're a man and you've got a very different voice. And when I was leaving the call with her, she says, good God, I hope you don't take any work from me. And it's just, like, these are people that are fighting the same problems. And it's not competitive because they hate you. It's competitive because this is their livelihood. And they don't want to give you the reason that they lost out on a big contract, right? A lot of voiceover work is month to month, right? Like you might have some contracts that are like locked in. Radio station imaging is a good one where you're on a contract, a month to month contract that you make X amount of money no matter how much work you do. But most voiceover stuff is not that. You don't get in debt for recording hobby or pro ambitions. Yeah, debt bad for audio. Audio doesn't pay enough right now. And your podcast probably ain't going to make money to start, or your YouTube channel, as most people find out the hard way. Yeah, there's a lot of money, the stuff you can spend your money on. And I say it like, I remember back when the original Rodecaster came out, and you would see on Facebook Marketplace, which is big in Canada, you would see like a Rodecaster Pro with 4 Shure SM7Bs. And because people started their podcast, got a month in, and realized they can't make money at it and don't want a podcast. So they're selling everything, and they spent so much money on it. And trust me, it's not easy to sell used product, man. Used audio gear does not sell as well as you might think. And if you need to find out whether or not you're in to be in it, go buy something cheap just to start. Voiceover, however, is a little difficult because you can't just jump in. The first thing voiceover artists need to do is they need coaching to make money, and coaching ain't cheap. Can't find that video on Dylan's right now. Damn it. Dylan's not in the chat anymore. I will find it because Dylan is friend. YouTube. Dylan Lalonde. It is called Videos. Bad News. There it is. It's a wicked song. I will share. Copy. There we go. Am I able to share links on this? Let me know, guys, if you see this link. I know some links do not share well. Okay, there you go. I don't know if that JZZP. See if that's the what. No, I don't know what happened there. That link's probably broken. 1 second. Bringing it back. It's shared. Just in case that link. Oh, no, that's what it was. Okay, so that's good. See the link. Used audio gear does not sell well unless you've got an original Neat King B. I have the original Worker B. I actually gave that or lent it to a friend. I'm going to tell you this. I have lent audio gear to friends that I've never gotten back. And I've got to stop lending it to friends because they just disappear. And you're like, hey, do you still got that? I got to do a video. Sorry, what, where are you? Where'd you go? Wireless stuff. I've lent because I get a lot of wireless stuff, right? Like I've got the Wireless Pro, I've got the Wireless Go Gen 3, all this stuff. So friends are like, hey, do you got something? I'm like, yeah, sure. And then you never hear from them again. I've lost a lot of product like that. So Yeah, Dylan Wardbeck board. You want to check it out? That is the board that I started my radio career on, in case you're wondering. Anyways, it's 10 after 6, gone on for more than an hour. Got the video on the Audio Technica ATR2100X coming out on Monday. And yeah, I wanted to talk more about this, but we'll save it for the video coming up Monday. Cheers, guys. Thanks for dropping in. We'll see you next week. Bye.